No one really prepares you for this in midlife. When things start to shift, there's no roadmap. So, what do you do? Let's talk about it. Grab your smoothie or cup of tea and join the conversation. Let's go. Hey there. We are back with another episode of Time for Wellness. So, each month we have a different episode. If you're just tuning in, welcome, welcome, welcome to this podcast. This is year 6. We are celebrating 6 years of podcasting. And so to kick off year 6, we've started also, in addition to the audio, just the audio, but actually having video where you can actually see me recording. Now, this month of April, I have my notes on my phone. I usually don't do this, but let's try something different. And also, since I'm going more with a different setup, I will, of course, have to connect my microphone sometime or the other because there is like a little echo. So, bear with me as I am transitioning with all the things. So, all my notes on here, so you'll see me if you're actually watching this, is on at Time for Wellness TV. So you'll actually get to see all of this now that I am now having videos. So let me check something right quick because, yeah, I want to make sure everything, I got all my little notes here. All right. So, again, no one really prepares you for this part of midlife where everything starts to shift at the same time. Your work, your energy, your priorities, even how you see yourself. And I'll just say this has been a very, very busy, well, last quarter, because now we're on to April, going into the second quarter, but quarter one, very busy. And the hardest part of all of this different shift is there's no real roadmap for it. Let me say that again. This is the third time. There's no roadmap for this. And I think that's why this season of life can feel so heavy sometimes, not because something is wrong, but because everything is changing all at once. So when you have all these different changes, the energy shifts. Maybe you may start waking up again and trying to figure out, why am I still waking up after 3, the witching hours? What should I do? Should I go eat something? Should I check my phone? Should I just go to the bathroom and go back to sleep? Should I play some music? Like you really don't know what to do, right? For a lot of us, this doesn't feel like a continuation of life. It feels like starting over. So you are over 40. This may feel like a do-over. I think maybe I mentioned it to myself when I was thinking back whenever I was in my 20s. And if I'm not looking directly in the camera, I think I moved something. So, whatever. So, when I was in my 20s, just going through college, starting to graduating, starting the career because, growing up, you were told to go to school, get good grades so you can get into a good college. And then so you can graduate honors, you want to honors. And then so then you have a great job and then you have the family and then all the things. Well, a lot of people in midlife are starting over. There's people going through separations, divorces, maybe death in the family. Maybe they're starting new careers. Maybe they have the actual time now. Their children are out of the house or in the house and are grown, whatever it may be, and they are starting over. So maybe that's why everything kind of hits a little different in midlife because we're now in some type of spring. Like I live in the South Carolinas. One day it's cold, one day is hot. So What do you really need? Do you need a reset? Like more like a now what moment? You're just trying to figure it out, right? But when you really look at it, this stage of life brings a lot of shifts. Some of us are navigating, again, the career changes by choice or because you may have to. Maybe your job has, downsized due to AI. AI can do it a little faster. And maybe you're like, okay, so I've been doing this job for X amount of years. What do I do now? Some are dealing with the change of your body. Oh my goodness. Now, if you've tuned in long enough, you know that last year I had an injury due to martial arts. So that totally changed not only my body, but my income too. That's a whole nother story again, if you haven't caught on to that. And I just ate too. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I just ate now recording my podcast. So your energy levels, we talked about that shifting. Some may be going through what we call perimenopause. Maybe you're having those hot flashes, or, maybe it's just, like we said, lack of sleep, or maybe the excessive weight gain, or maybe weight loss, maybe you're cold all the time. Different things. Your kids are growing up, families evolving, relationships shifting. We just talked about all that. And then there's a financial side, trying to figure out stability. Yes. The money, the security, what's next? And underneath all of this, there's this quiet question that doesn't always get said out loud. Where do I go from here? Where do I go? Okay, we're not going to hide. We're going to face it. We're going to face it head on. Where do I go from here? Because it's not just one thing that's changing, it's everything. There's layers to this, right? And here's the part that makes it even harder. No one really tells you how to navigate it. Like I just said, there's no roadmap for this. There's no clear set of steps, no timeline, no itinerary, nothing that really makes sense for everyone. There's no catch all. There's a lot of people now, everybody's jumping on the bandwagon, being over 40, midlife. It seems like everywhere I look, and of course, when you start looking and liking different things, you start seeing more of that. But there's a lot of people on this midlife bandwagon. If somebody tells you they got all these little things to fit in this little packet and it's going to solve your problem, run. That is not true. Everybody's body is different. Everybody is different. There's no one size fit all. Okay. There's no guidebook that says, here's exactly what midlife is supposed to look like. You can get this in 10 easy steps. That doesn't work. Okay. You'll find advice, you'll find opinions, you'll find people telling you what to do, what you should and should not do. But when it comes down to it, again, what did we just say? There's no real roadmap for it. Okay. Okay. You got it? Have I made myself clear? This can feel so unsettling, and it makes you question yourself. You start thinking about it. You may hear it's a school bus. Like, why is a school bus driving? It's like, as I'm recording this podcast, it's in the evening. Like, these kids still haven't gotten home yet. Like, okay, I digress. It can make you feel like you're behind, okay? Or like you're supposed to have things figured out by now. But what if that's not true? What if you don't have to have it figured out? What if you don't? Okay. What if the problem isn't that you don't have a roadmap? What if the lack of a roadmap is actually the point? Maybe you're not supposed to have a roadmap. Okay. Let's think about this. No script. I don't have a script other than my little cheat sheet right here. But other than that, there's no script. There's nothing you're required to follow. There's no timeline. There's no such thing as being behind. If there are no fixed rules, then you have more room than you think. You have more room to decide, to adjust, to change your mind. If you decide today you want to be known as a fitness guru and then tomorrow you decide that you want to do taxes, go right ahead. Whatever you want to do, right? You can change your mind. And that's not everything we've always been taught to see as a good thing. So let's think about it. What am I talking about? So back in the olden days, now back in our day, we were told multitasking was great, right? If you can do all these things, you put that on your resume. And then years later, they told us, no, you need to decide on these little things. So then we pursue the things. And then now we're back in midlife, and it's just like, okay, I can't do that one thing anymore. I'm going to have to switch gears. So now you're telling me that I need to multitask. I need to have more than one skill. When I had all those skills, you told me, no, we're moving out of that. So things change, things evolved. We can change. You can decide today. I was telling someone, I think maybe it was one of my children, about you can decide, how you want to speak. You don't have just because you grew up, with a certain vernacular and whatever it may be, you can just, if you want to, decide you want to change the way you speak, have a new accent, why not? It's you. However you want to show up as that person, right? So again, a lot of us were taught to follow a path, to pick something, stick with it, and make it work. But midlife has a way of interrupting. It will shift and change things. And you're like, okay, what now? I don't know. I don't know myself. You do. It's called midlife awareness. There's no more midlife crisis. We are in that midlife awareness. So, what actually works for you right now? What's the first thing that comes to mind? Think about it. This is a different kind of question that requires honesty. Like people growing up, they used to say, have a come to Jesus meeting. Or you can say, come to whomever. But being honest with yourself. This requires letting go of certain expectations. Like you no longer have to be that person that your parents told you had to be in order to succeed. And sometimes it requires releasing the version of yourself or the versions of yourself that no longer fit. Again, that's not failure. That's not like you didn't make a mistake. What did I say? It is midlife awareness. And when everything starts to change around you, just think about it. This is not the first time. If you are over 40, that's all we know. If you listened or watched my podcast episode from March, we talked about AI. We talked about AI isn't a threat. Forgetting who we are is. And we talked about adapting, right? So, few things. We've done this all before. We've adapted to the internet. Remember when you first were like, what's that? WWW? Remember? It's the World Wide Web. Remember that? Remember when you got your first email? What was it? AOL? Hotmail, maybe? What was it? And Google came on the scene. I remember when I got my first Gmail account. I was like, wow, this is nice. And now we are in another shift with AI and everything else evolving. But this isn't about keeping up. It's about remembering that we already know how to adapt. We already know how to adapt, okay? We already know how to adjust. Switch it, change it, rearrange it. Where did that come from? Do you remember that? If you remember that, I think it was a TV show. I want you to leave that in the comments of YouTube. We already know how to learn, right? We already know how to figure things out one step at a time. And maybe that's what this season is really about. Not having everything mapped out, but trusting that you can navigate it anyway. Just that trust, learning how to trust you. Because midlife isn't about becoming who you were supposed to be. It's about deciding who you are right now. Without all the pressure, without all the timelines, without needing permission. You don't need anyone's permission. Now, some people will choose to build something new, right? Some will just simplify, keep it so simple. Some people will travel. Let's travel, right? Some will stay rooted, and some will share their lives openly. And then others will move quietly. There isn't one right way to do this, and there doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be. So if you're in a space right now where things feel uncertain, if it feels like you're starting over, if it feels like you don't quite know what the next step is like or is going to be, this doesn't mean that you are lost. You don't have to like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? You don't have to panic. Take a deep breath and let it go. You are in a space where you get to choose. You have a choice. Midlife comes with a choice. And it may feel uncomfortable, but it can also free you. What is that song? Free your mind. Don't be so shallow. Be colorblind, and the rest will follow. Remember that in Vogue back in the day? Okay, I digress. There may not be a roadmap for this part of life, but maybe that's the point. Maybe the whole point is that you get to create your own way, the road less traveled. Which will you choose? It's up to you. Thank you for tuning in for this month's podcast episode. If you found value in this episode, go ahead and subscribe to this episode. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube at Time for Wellness TV. And let me know what your new thing is if you want to share that. I would love to hear from you. Again, year 6, we are off with a bang. We are just celebrating all the things. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. I was going to find, oh man, I was going to find my maraca. I don't know where it is. I was going to shake my maraca because we're celebrating, right? Celebrating you. So until next time, learn to love and learn to serve. Bye for now.